All right. Chapter 12 is rather short, but very important to completing your final project and really understanding how do we move beyond just a model into actually producing sheets with information on them. And primarily we do that with views. So I'm going to briefly read through some of the things the author has in the chapter here. The first item you'll tackle in this chapter is the process of duplicating a view to create another. Although it's a straightforward procedure, it's a lot like writing on the hope that you proceed with this function correctly. A lot is writing on the hope that you proceed with this function correctly. As you're about to find out, this command isn't a simple copy and paste operation. Revit will change how you organize a project. You no longer open a file and save it as another file so that you can make changes without affecting the original. As you know it, Revit isn't all-inclusive in terms of files. There is only one. From that one file, there are views that reside in the project browser. Of course, I'm not going to tell you anything you haven't learned already. If you've gone through the book from page 1, you've gained experience in creating views, especially in chapter 3. If you're jumping to this chapter, which we're not, so we'll move forward. Now let's duplicate some views. To begin, open the files you've been using or follow along. So basically, we downloaded the file from the internet, and we're going to follow along. In the project browser, find the level 1 floor plan. Item 2, select Duplicate View. Duplicate with detailing is shown in Figure 2.1. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about this. Duplicate View. You'll notice when you do that there are 3 types of views that you can duplicate. There is Duplicate, which literally is going to copy the view. I don't know when you'll actually use that command, but it's there for you. There's Duplicate with detailing. Well, no, I know when you use duplicate. So duplicate would be like, I want to make a copy of this, but I want to name it a different name, and I'm going to use this view a different way than I would use the first view, because you can only put a view on one sheet, right? So if you needed several views of your floor plan for some reason in your drawing set, you'd have to have duplicates. If you just duplicate it, it will not duplicate it with the annotation. If you use duplicate with detailing, it will duplicate it with the annotation, but they're still independent of each other. If you duplicate it as a dependent, it's a copy that will update with the does that make sense? It will update. They're linked at that point. And there's different reasons to use the different views, but again, you can only place a view on a sheet one time. So if you need to see that view multiple times for some reason, you want to put different information on it, or even if you want to put the same information on it, you're going to have to duplicate it and give it a unique name. All right. So select Duplicate View, Duplicate with Detailing, as shown in Figure 12.1. Okay, and you're going to notice here in the project browser, it gave us a view called Copy of Level 1, or Level 1 Copy 1 rather. Rename it Level 1 Furniture Plan. Make sure you're in the level 1 floor plan, not the new furniture plan. Alright, so let's go back up to level 1. Type VG. Doing so brings up the Visibility Graphics Override window. In the Visibility column, deselect Casework, Furniture, and Furniture Systems. Alright, so we don't want to see Casework. We don't want to see Furniture or Furniture Systems. Click OK. Now anytime you add furniture or casework, it will only appear in the furniture plan. So just to prove their point, we have furniture in this plan, right? Level 1. Do we have furniture? So they're independent views, but the majority of the information we needed, right? We needed another view of level 1. So the only way we wouldn't go create a new level and create level 1 furniture plan from a new level. You create it by duplicating the view and making them independent. Alright, now anytime you add furniture, yeah, we talked about that. The ability to create a copy of a view and then modify its visibility graphics to display certain items is a critical function in Revit. Another similar task is also available, creating coordinated match line divisions in a model by creating dependent views. Alright, so match line is when you have to put one view across multiple sheets, and we're going to, obviously this wouldn't fit on a drawing sheet very well because of its proportions. So we're going to show you how to put that together. You create a dependent view in much the same way you duplicate a view. In fact, you are duplicating a view. The function of a dependent view is to nest a duplicate of a view within the host view, or the view of which you're making the duplicate. This nested view is dependent on the host view in terms of visibility, graphics, and view properties. You can have multiple dependent views categorized under the host view. You create dependent views in order to add match lines. Yes, you can simply duplicate a view and move its crop region, but when you have dependent views, as you'll see in Chapter 13, Creating Sheets and Printing, you can tag those views in a specific way for Revit to track the sheets they're on. Dependent views also give the advantage of making your project browser much less cluttered, without unnecessary floor plans. In the next procedure, you'll make a dependent view of Level 1 floor plan. Item 1. In the project browser, right-click the Level 1 floor plan. Select Duplicate View, Duplicate as Dependent. Alright, so now, if you look in the project browser, you can see it placed it underneath the view instead of in the same tree. Does everybody see that in their project browser? Alright. You now have a view that is nested under Level 1. As you can see, Level 1 is expanded to show its dependencies. Right-click Level 1 again. Select Duplicate View, Duplicate as a Dependent. And you'll see you now have Dependent 1 and Dependent 2. Right-click Dependent 2 on the Level 1. Right-click Dependent on the Level 1 view. Alright, so rename it Level 1 East. And what do you think we're going to rename the other view?
Level 1
West. Yeah, East and West, right? Okay. Alright. Now that the views are duplicated and nested in the host view, it's time to divide the Level 1 floor plan. You'll do this by adjusting the crop region. Adjusting the crop regions. Every view in Revit has a crop region. Crop regions play an important role when your plan is too large to fit on a sheet. All you need to do at this point is to slide the east and west crop regions to display the appropriate parts of the plan based on the names of the view. Open Level 1 West Dependent View, which we're already there. Select the crop region as shown in Figure 12.3. Alright, so this box right here is your crop region. So if we want to go to the west, if we're working on the west, we want to see this portion of the building. We're simply going to take this dot, and we've done this before with other views, we're going to drag it over this way. And they show us dragging it to about here in the book. Right. So this first line is the model crop region. The second dashed line is your annotation crop region. So if you have your model here and you have some annotation, a text note or something, that's in this area, it will still show up. If you go beyond that with the text, it will not show up. Right. So on the east view, we're going to do the same thing. Oh, maybe I was in the east view. I screwed up. Alright, so if we want to see the east, we're just going to drag it the other way. Alright, now we'll go to the west and we'll adjust its crop region. So that takes us through item number 7 Item number 8, choose to go to the primary view to open the level 1 floor plan. In the level 1 floor plan, turn on the crop region by clicking the Show Crop Region button. Alright, so if you need to find a crop region, you can come down here in the properties. You can say, hey, I want to see the crop region. So make it visible. Now we can do the additive crop. Alright, and what you're going to see here is a couple things. Here's the crop region for your primary view, your host view. These lines here are the crop regions for the various views. So if I needed to take that and match it up, I could match that up, right? So now I know that that's exactly where those two pieces are essentially paste together. Unfortunately, if you have a match line situation in your project, you must follow this procedure with each floor plan separately. For multi-floor projects, doing so can become time-consuming. Alternately, you can right-click in a view that has dependency and select Apply Dependent Views. From there, you can select the views to which the dependent views will be added. As you can see, adjusting the crop region is how you specify which part of the plan will appear on your sheets. This poses one issue. If you have text that you'd like to lie outside the crop region, that is, if there's a leader note is pointing to an item with the crop boundary, you may not see the note. To fix this, you can adjust the annotated crop region. And we talked about the annotated crop region, right? It's that second outside blue line you see there. Adjusting the annotated crop region. Because the crop region cuts off the model at a specified parameter, what is to become of text that needs to lie outside this boundary. This is where the annotated crop region comes in handy. You'll always have the situation where leader text must be outside the geometry it's labeling. You can make adjustments to ensure that this can happen. Let's adjust the annotated crop region to clean up a plan. Follow these steps. In the project browser, open the level 1 west dependent view. Select the crop region as shown in figure 12.7. Notice the two perimeters. One is a solid line and the other is a dashed line. The dashed line is the annotated crop region. In the corridor, there is a dimension that seems to be floating. Well, I already went outside that, but let me adjust this so that it is floating. So this looks problematic here, right? Like you're dimensioning to nothing. The crop region is still selected. Pick the outside stretch grip as shown in figure 2.8 and stretch the annotated crop region until the dimension disappears. See how that happened? So once that annotation was outside the annotated crop region, what happened to it? It went away. Absolutely. All right, next item. Adding match lines. In CAD, adding a match line is nothing more than simple practice of drawing a line. Same is true in Revit, except that in Revit you draw that line in sketch mode, and you can propagate it to other views. Also in Revit, after you place the line, it registers as having two sides of a model. In Chapter 13, when you drag your views onto your sheets, Revit will know where each side of the model is located in terms of being placed on a sheet. The objective of the next procedure is to place a match line into the model. Follow these steps. Item 1, open the level 1 floor plan. And what I'm going to do here is take this and just match it like we did before. There we go. On the Sheets Composition panel of the Views tab, click the match line. If we go to View, we go to Sheet Composition. We haven't really talked about this a whole lot. This little button here is the match line button. We're going to click that. It's going to bring us into sketch mode. Isn't that beautiful? We're familiar with sketch mode at this point, right? Yeah. Item 3, in the Properties dialog box, make sure the top and bottom constraints are set to unlimited. They are. Top constraint, bottom constraint. On the draw panel, click the line button. It's already selected. Draw the match line as shown in figure 12.10. Alright. Our match line kind of comes from basically here and cuts across our model to somewhere around here. What do we see there? Nice bold line, right? Nice bold hatch line. So when we place this on a sheet in the next chapter, it will put on either side of that line a reference to where the other view is. Does that make sense? So we've set up two views. We're going to take those two views, we're going to put them on separate sheets, and that line is going to tell us where we got to go look to find the other view. All right. Let's see if we can't make it look a little bit nicer. A match line isn't actually a line by definition, it's an object. Therefore, you can control its appearance by using the Object Styles dialog box. The next procedure focuses on changing the appearance of the match line. On the Manage tab, click the Object Styles. Object Styles. Item 2. Click the Annotation Object tab as shown in figure 12.11. And if we scroll down here, we should see match lines. Because a match line is something that Revit actually recognizes, right? It understands it's a match line. It has a category, basically. Click into the line pattern, the dash cell. You see a menu arrow. Click it and select dash dot 3/8. So we're changing what the line will look like. Click OK. Your match line now has a different type of line. Look at that. It's got a dash and then a dot. With the match line in place and the plan split into two halves, let's add an annotation to label the match line. For the match line annotation, you'll place a piece of text that says match line. But when you reference each side of the plan, you'll need to add view references. Adding view references to a match line. After the plan is split and the match line is in place, you can tag each side of the match line. When you drag the view onto a drawing sheet, the tag will be filled out with the correct page name. It's important to note, however, that although this process is automatic, it isn't fully automatic. You do need to specify the correct view names as you're placing the tag. In this procedure, you'll place a piece of text that says match line along the match line and add a view reference to each side of the match line. Follow these steps. In the project browser, open the level 1 plan. We're there. On the Annotate tab, click the text button. On the Modify Place tab are the leader options. Click No Leader. Well, we already have no leader. Pick a window near the match line for the text. And we're going to put in match line. So this is just text, right? Nothing out of the ordinary about that. We use text quite a bit. It has no, it's not dynamic, it's just a text box. Click and rotate 90 degrees. Click the move grip, drag the text over to the match line so its position is shown in figure 12.13. Yeah, we've kind of done that. So this text box works like any other text box. On On the sheet's composition panel of the View tab, click the View Reference button. So back here to this thing that we haven't done very often. There's a little thing called View Reference. This is going to let us place a reference. And it's a smart reference. So first thing we have to do is tell it we want you to reference a particular view. So if we're putting it on this side, we want it to reference the east, or we want it to reference the west. So I'm going to say I want it to reference the east. And I'm going to click and put it down here. And then I'm going to do this again. But I'm going to change which one this one references. So I'm going to say that this is referencing the west. And then I can just rotate these. Oh, I don't want to copy them. Rotate this. Do the same over here. Rotate it. We typically put them down here at the end of the line. And this is showing dot, 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 but what will it show eventually? The sheet name, right? And typically we copy them and put them on both ends of the line. So I'm going to just take this out here, and I'll take this. I'm going to edit that sketch, and I'm going to take that line, and I'm going to drag it out here. And a lot of times what you'll do is you'll put match line on both sides of the match line. So we can just simply copy that text. There we go. Okay. That takes us through making the match line. The last thing that this chapter covers is what's called view templates. So once you've gone through a project in your office and you've set up, this is the way I want a furniture plan to look. This is the way I want a reflected ceiling plan to look. This is the way I want an area plan to work. These are the visibility graphics that I want to come on and off, and what things should and shouldn't be shown in each plan. You can actually create view templates, so you don't have to redo all that work. When you created the furniture plan at the beginning of the chapter, you manipulated the data in the visibility graphics overrides option to hide furniture in a specific plan. It would be nice to build settings like these into a template so you could simply apply the template to a view the next time the situation arose. Let's create a view template and apply it to another view. Follow these steps. In the project browser, right-click the Level 1 floor plan. Level 1 floor plan. Select Create View Template from the view. Right-click. Create View Template from view. And we're going to name this template without furniture or casework. Okay. In the View Template dialog box, Revit allows you to further control the view properties and visibility graphics. Because you don't need to do that, make any other adjustments, click OK. Right-click the Level 2 floor plan. Select Apply Template Properties. In the Apply View Template dialog box, select the Without Furniture Casework template. Click OK. So the visibility settings that you had for level 1 are now applied to level 2. You might think, oh, that's not a big deal, but it's a huge time saver to set up templates, especially when you're in an office environment. It also creates a consistency about how drawings are shown. All right. That's chapter 12. Any questions?